Advocates in weight vision.
Yes, we do. So Utah Advocates in the first one. Weight Vision will be in the second one. I added the RGS
Mm,
exterior to the log.
okay.
So we'll have, because you went long with him, but that's not a problem. I don't,
How long did I go?
8.5 minutes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you guys had a fun conversation, man. I wasn't going to
Mm.
interrupt that. I was listening to it like, man, I want to buy a house now.
All right. Well, I can't go that long in the future.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go. I'll
So
let
that'll
them.
be a lot of the third segment then.
Yeah. We have 43 minutes still, so you just got to break it up just a
Okay.
little bit longer and shorter. That's all.
15, 15, 15.
Yeah. Just keep it that like that.
I think we can do that. That'll work. Okay.
So I remember. What do you? Well, how long do you want to go? Like 4 minutes? I would say about 3 to 4 minutes with Tim in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll button it up a little bit.
Yeah. It's okay. No worries.
Okay.
You're gonna get better at it. I know that, buddy.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Talk to you in a minute.
All righty, sports fans, welcome on in. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Proud to be a part of Utah's ESPN radio network and proud to be here today. Oh, my goodness. I believe I saw something this morning that said from now until November 26th, there will not be a day without a football game. Check me if I'm wrong on that one, Martin, but I believe that's the case. So every single day from here on out, there is some kind of football game on the television. So we are so addicted. We need rehab. We need intervention. We need something, but we have football. And not only do we have football, but we got basketball. Utah Jazz starting off, of course, with their preseason, and the Mammoth. The Mammoth are going to be Mammoth this year. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to go far, far, far into the playoffs, and everyone's going to be pumped up and excited about the Mammoth. So I'm excited to be here. Great show today. We got a lot of fun things to talk about. I mean, a ton of fun things to talk about, as we do every day. And so we really appreciate you joining in. If you missed part of this, just download, that old ESPN 700 Sports app. It's free. It will give you access anytime you want. I have people all over the world that actually have this app and are listening in right now as we speak. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you. An interesting thing happened, the portal window. There's only one portal window now. It's been whittled down, so it's not as long. It has some adjustments to it. And I think it's a beautiful thing, what they've actually done with the transfer portal. There's only one window, so there used to be two. This one is from the 9th of January to the 12th, I believe, or the 5th to the 12th. There's somewhere early January, somewhere to the 12th of January. If you have a coach that's fired, which there have been 4 coaches fired this year, there was this mass exodus. Okay, so you could just go, boom. You could leave the program, and now there's a cooling off period to wait and see with a new coach. And of course, a new coach also has an opportunity to recruit their own players. People just aren't just in mass leaving a program before it actually happens. There's no spring transfer window. Thank goodness for that one. It really minimizes kind of when and how, and puts a better control on the player movement and just some sanity. So I was really excited to see that happen. And there's a few adjustments for the teams that are still in the playoffs. I believe it's at the quarterfinals at that point. So there's going to be 4 teams out of all of the teams in America that actually are not able to participate in that. Well, they'll be able to participate in it. They just won't have the opportunity to, they're going to have to stay focused because they got their bowl games, championships to worry about, and they also have their recruiting. Now, the thing that, because Ryan Day was a bit of a, he's like, his first world complaint. Well, we don't have an opportunity because we'll be in the playoffs to go and get better players. And it's like, well, you have better players because you're in the playoffs, you moron. Come on. It's a silly argument. Anyways, the thing is Ryan Day and all those coaches are out coaching, and most organizations now have a department of scouting in some form or fashion. I mean, you have recruiting, right? And so it's really kind of no different. Your focus on recruiting is just shifting. So if you broke down the percentages, right, you go, in the past, 95% of our recruiting is high school kids, maybe 5% is junior college. And maybe that fluctuates based on kind of where we are in the pipeline, right? So these coaches, they just fill up the pipeline and just plug these players in, and then they just churn them out on the backside. And the pipeline, sometimes you'll get a freshman or two that come in and they help immediately, but most of the time it's a cycle. Here in Utah, you have missions, right? So the players go on missions in some places, and and they have players at Utah, BYU, Utah's, all the schools have a missionary thing to some point. Now the coaches go, hang on just a minute. Instead of 95% of high school kids, now it's maybe 60%, 70%, and maybe there's a 30% focus on the portal. So all you've done is you're just shifting, allocating a percentage of your focus. You're still 100%, whatever it is, and that may take a different person. It may take a few different people. Someone who's really good at evaluating talent from schools. It's also, I'm sure, because I think the biggest recruiting tool in America today is the cell phone. That's really where you're gonna find people. Like you're gonna find people in that through when you recruited them in high school. And you look at almost all these players, with the exception of Josh Allen, who's only recruited by Wyoming, and he may have had conversations with whomever. I'll bet Josh Allen would have gone one, maybe two more places had the transfer portal been open when he was at Wyoming. And that's like the group of 5 schools are now your junior colleges. But the key that my point about the cell phone is you get these kids' number, because there's no way in the world, no one is ever going to convince me that Texas Tech just magically, the first day of open the portal, that they just started contacting people. There's got to be some, and maybe, maybe because there's no one knows. And the contact could be, hey, hope you're having a great season. Always thinking of you, really enjoyed getting to know you in the recruiting process, well, I wish you the best of luck down the road. And somewhere in that conversation, because you're always recruiting, always. And that cell phone has got to be working. You got to be working the lines. Who's out there? And so you evaluate your team and you just go, where are we going to be short? Okay, who's out here? Let's get in touch with them. I mean, it's not literally rocket science. It's just organizational science. But it's also, so the number one recruiting tool is a phone. And the number 2 recruiting tool is someone who knows talent, like who really knows talent. And I think one of the things Utah did a phenomenal job on is they were able to project, right? And it goes back many generations ago. And I think it goes back to Ron McBride. It might even go back to Lavelle at BYU eons ago, right? So what Lavelle used to do is he'd recruit the best talented player in like Idaho and maybe Hawaii and Utah and Nevada and Colorado, and then they get second tier players from California, basically. And so all the best athletes in places like Utah or wherever, they're the quarterback. So they basically recruited a bunch of quarterbacks to BYU and then turned them into something else. And I'm not exaggerating to some degree, but I am. I mean, I'm not. I mean, they just look for athletes, the best athlete available, and they groomed them, and they developed them, and they shifted them around, and so they saw that, hey, we can work with an athlete. If we have an athlete, we got a spot for you somewhere. And of course, then they started, projecting kind of and seeing these kids. And I think what happened is they saw kids that went to like a junior college. So take a guy like Jason Buck, coming out of high school, not so much. But then all of a sudden he goes to Rick's for a couple of years, and then he turns into something. And so they start identifying players like that. I mean, like Chad Lewis was a 165 wet behind the ears kid who then goes on a mission and comes back and is a walk-on. And they go, we need to find those Chad Lewis's, those Jason Buck type of players that may be coming out of high school, not a lot to write home about. but then they mature and they grow up and they blow up, and now there's something. And so it's someone who can see that. It's the soothsayer, it's the savant who can really project and identify talent. And I think it's a skill. I tell you, someone who was incredible at it in the NFL was Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome had an eye for talent, and I mean just athletes and just really really good players. And he just did a phenomenal job of drafting at his time with the Ravens. And then there's some people that are just like they're horrible, like they can't. And so you really need someone. It could be the most important position you have in your organization in college football today is your talent evaluator. And it's someone who really, really understands talent, but and how it projects and how it fits into your program. Because what's happened at Utah, their cupboards got robbed. Like they had all these guys, and they were the guys that they were developing, and now they're gone. And so now Utah is in a different influx of where they're going to find talent. And the way they're going to find talent, they're going to buy it, or they're going to be a middle of the road team. They're going to be a middle of the road Big 12 team, like, any other team in the Big 12, unless they can really infuse really good talent into the program. And it's going to come at a cost. And that's college football today. And we're seeing schools that are middle of the road programs who are saying, not on my watch. Stanford, $50 million. Or Kansas, $300 million. Texas Tech, $50 million this year. $25 million, whatever they spent. And folks are infusing that money into their programs. And they're saying, we're not going to be middle of the road anymore. So developing players, Stanford was so good at, and I really appreciate what they did is they said, look, we're an academic institution, but we know there's a lot of really good players in the country who are also like smart students, like an Andrew Luck or like a Christian McCaffrey, or they understand that player, and they can win a lot of football games because of it. But today they can't. Like the players go, the Gabe Reeds or who was just phenomenal at Utah. Those players are not going to. They're going to now. Some of them might still go to Stanford to say, hey, this is an education. But so many players are like, I want to play football, and I think I'm good enough to go to the next level, or at least I want to take a shot at it. So it's the whole portal thing. I love that they've gained control of it, but still you have to be ready for it. And it's nice that it's in that one window. You get all your junk done in December with your, early signing, which is really the regular signing now. I'd love to see the player that signs on the February 12th day or the Wednesday traditional February signing day. Like that's Mr. Irrelevant. Like, yeah, I went through all the processes and evaluated all my options here, and I've now decided. Like most of these kids are like, I don't want to be bothered with recruiting. I want to know where I'm going, and so many of them have been recruited since they were in the 8th grade, and they make their choices and off they go. But I think you have to have that balance, right? You got to find the high school players. That still has to be the core of your program. And there's a lot of good players out there, and you'd be foolish not to have that a part of what you're doing. But also, all high school kids don't pan out. A lot of them don't. And so you've got to find the players, and that's the beautiful thing to me about the transfer portal is you see them. They're on tape. Like what you're seeing with Devin Dampier at Utah right now, that was there. Like that's who he is. Like no one should be shocked and go, well, I didn't know he ran around like this. I didn't know whatever it is. Like that you get it, and you maybe find like a Cam Scattaboo, and that's the player I'm talking about, and that's whoever did that has an eye for it because he was a heck of a player. And he moved the needle for Arizona State a year ago. He was probably the biggest find for them. The biggest part of their turnaround was a Cam Scattaboo, and he was a beast. And his persona and the whole thing just really was such a pivotal part. Same thing with Sam Levitt. I mean, this guy was at Michigan State, and they just found the right pieces, and it's because of that talent evaluation. So so fascinating. Now, oh man, I got so much I want to talk about today. I don't know that we'll get through all this today. Can we like go into overtime? Is that possible, Martin? I'm just thinking ahead. I know what I have on the list here today. So I'm thinking ahead. You know what? We're just gonna go through whatever we can get through. I'm just telling you, stuff is good. Okay, Bill Belichick. There's a lot of people that are like, off with his head, be gone with him. And then there's of course the university who comes out and says, we fully support Bill Belichick. I don't know that, like, all I know is when you get full support, when someone comes out, a coach, management, like Bill Belichick should be really nervous now because he's Bill Belichick, right? He knows that he's used those words before. Oh, that kid has my full support, and he's out of there. Like that is, if there's ever a kiss of death for a coach, it's when someone says he has my full support. Like you look at Mike McDaniels at the Miami Dolphins, and he goes, "Yeah, the owner is pretty pissed off right now. Like he's not happy." And we've had conversations, and he's not happy. I would rather have that conversation. I'd rather have that kind of support because you know where you are. Like this kind of passive aggressive, oh no, we're happy with this guy. And then behind the closed doors is like, get rid of that Belichick. I never liked him anyways. The fascinating thing about Bill Belichick is I think Bill Belichick is being assistant coach Bill Belichick at North Carolina. If that makes any sense, please let me explain. Think of all the Bill Belichick prodigies tree. Like it's a tree that was like it had no fruit. Like when you put the leaves and the branches out there, they wilted and died. Who in the Bill Belichick, someone please text in. Who in the Bill Belichick tree of coaches really succeeded or has succeeded? I mean, Josh McDaniels got 2 shots, like twice, and he was like it's really bad. Romeo Crennel and Charlie Weiss and just on and on and on. I mean, was Vrabel, was he but he was just a player. Like I don't even think he was with Belichick. And here Belichick is going out on his own. Like he's branching out his own tree saying, well, I've seen all these assistants go and do it. I'm going to go. And, and Bill Belichick is the curse of Bill Belichick is being wrought upon Bill Belichick. Maybe that's a better way to put it. He's cursed by his own self. Now, I know he has a style. And I I've talked about this through the years. And I watch and I observe. And I don't think it was so much Bill Belichick and his genius as it was the process and the system that they took full advantage of. So there's free agency in the NFL, and there's a salary cap. And you can only go out and get and spend so much money. And so often that money is spent on one or two players. And for whatever reason, the Patriots said, we are not going to do that. We are not going to go find this shiny new object. What we're going to do is we're going to go in the used car market. But we're going to be really judicious in that car market. We figured out a formula when we were with the New York Giants that won Super Bowls. And it was an effective, balanced offense and a defense that really, it was almost a bend but don't break defense, or it was a defense that was designed to take away, not everything, but take away the thing that you were most comfortable doing as an offense, so that you had to adjust. And basically the rule was, if you beat us, you're going to beat us doing something that that's not your favorite thing to do. For example, the Super Bowl in 1990 against the Buffalo Bills. They said, we're going to run a 3-down line and we're going to stop you throwing the football. And you can run it against us. And if you run it, you will beat us. And the Bills couldn't do that. So and that's what he was a genius at, right? And so they had a whole system, and they said, I need to plug this player in my system. So they went to the used car market and they got Randy Moss, not when he was drafted, not when he was a free agent, like and got big money, but the second or third time around when Randy Moss goes, I just want to win. Or a Chad Johnson, or a Corey Dillon, or a whole plethora of tight ends or slot receivers. And then they had a quarterback they got by default. And they said, look, he can play in our system as good as Drew Bledsoe. And we'll never have to pay him that top dollar, because Tom Brady is about legacy and loyalty. And he's a guy that's always had to fight for a spot. And he knows if he stays here, he's never going to have to fight for his spot. He's always going to be the guy. And Tom Brady bought into Belichick's system. The problem is he's at North Carolina, and you don't have that system. He can't plug in his players. And I'm not saying it's not going to not work. I'm just going to say it's going to take some time, and you got to get the right people in there, because he's got to find his Tom Brady every 2 or 3 years. And that's a hard thing to do. Oh, my goodness. We got so much more. So will Belichick work? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But he's certainly a product and a casualty of his own system and success. That's what I think. Our Mariners lost. Our Brewers lost. But they're still in the driver's seat. There's still a chance. We're going to talk about I'm going to talk about the Yankees when we return, along with some awesome stuff in the NFL. This is Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 700 921 FM.
All good. You'll have 19 and a half minutes for the whole rest of the show. I know. We can do another show. Okay, we'll do another show. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like it. No, I'm still here. Sorry, I was just looking at something. But yeah, I agree. I like that idea. So what time do we have to get out if we're going to go to RGS is just in the last segment. I no, it'll just play with the last segment. So we only have 19 and a half minutes, so 54, 55-ish. It'll be fine. Yeah.
I just need to know when to get in.
Yeah. 50. Plan on 54. 10:54.
And it's 8 minutes long?
Yeah, 8.5 minutes long.
So that puts it at 10:02.
Yep, 11:02. It'll be fine. All right. Don't worry. No worry. Okay.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Hey, Ute fans, you know what? Football season is in full swing. We all know how busy the traffic is when you're driving to the Ute game, so please drive with patience and be alert to other drivers. But if you are injured in an auto accident, the Advocates have your back, available 24/7, 365. Of course, the Advocates are award-winning injury attorneys, and they simply win. If another driver's negligence leaves you injured with medical bills that you can't pay, you need to call the injury attorneys at the Advocates. No cost consultations. You'll never pay a dime out of pocket with the Advocates, working to recover the compensation you deserve. They also help out with motorcycle accidents, even if you're injured jogging or, when the dog bites you. And it does happen. I'm just telling you. So please drive with extra caution when dropping the kids off at school. Ute fans, you don't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate. Call 801-355-5550 or go to utahadvocates.com. Go Utes. All right. Some crazy things happen in the NFL. Of course, Joe Flacco ends up going to the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, he was sat down in lieu of Roman. I want to say Roman Gabriel, Dylan Gabriel. Roman Gabriel is he's an old guy. I think they're related, by the way. Anyways, Dylan Gabriel is now the starter, and Joe Flacco was actually traded. There's a couple of fascinating aspects about this trade. And this is what this tells me about the Bengals. Like, the Bengals know we invested a ton of money in our offense, and it's got to be just a killer thing. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, of course, Joe Burrow, and then Joe Burrow gets injured. And Joe Burrow kind of gets injured a little bit. And he could be one of those players that just can't quite stay healthy. Anyways, Joe Burrow is out. This team feels like it can make a push. And if you look around the NFL, which I want to do actually at some point, if you did, this team goes, we want to win now, right? So they go, okay, we think, look, Jake Browning, we think he's been around. We kind of like him. We think maybe, and it's like, after a few weeks, like, no, he ain't got it. And to the Bengals' credit, they proactively are out looking for players. Now, I find I find it quite telling. I mean, that to me is one side. Like, they just go, we got to win. Like, we're not into, we're not into let's just take our lumps this year with this guy. Let's find someone who can kind of right the ship and doesn't have to be like Superman. I mean, we've got a lot of talent. And I think it's a great situation for Joe Flacco. I really do. In fact, he's going to start this week, which is crazy. But when you play for umpteen million years, after a while, you go, yeah, I know what this concept is. It's just called a different name. Like you just know how to play the game, and it's probably limited. And he doesn't need to have a whole lot because no one knows who he is. Like they don't know like, oh, we have a book on Joe Flacco at this point because he hadn't played with the Bengals, so he'll get away with some things for a couple of weeks and then he'll get more acclimated to their playbook and it'll open up and it'll be good for him. He can come in and play in a week, I think, and be effective, and at least be more effective than what's been going on. But the other thing I think was fascinating with this whole situation, because it's very fascinating in so many ways, is there's a couple of guys in New York, and they're taking a seat to Jackson Dart. And why didn't you get one of those guys? And they didn't. And to me, that says a tremendous amount, at least about what they thought. Now, the one guy I really thought, and we thought here on the show, that the Bengals should go after was Kirk Cousins, and I think Kirk Cousins would fit in there immensely. Now, he's just it makes too much money, and so and maybe I don't know. I don't know what the rules are on the salary cap if there's an ability to renegotiate his contract, or at some point, right before you trade for him, because he seemed like Jameis Winston. I don't know. I just like Jameis Winston. I like his personality. I think he's a guy that maybe could flip, and maybe they're worried about him doing too well. I don't know. Well, you're never going to outdo Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow is one of the top guys in the NFL, so I don't think that's necessarily the case. But man, it's interesting they didn't try, or maybe they did try. Maybe the Giants didn't want to part with him. Maybe they go, no, we really like Jameis. We're not ready to get rid of him. We actually think Jameis might end up being a good number 2 situation for Jackson Dart for a longer period of time. Who knows? I don't know. And then the other part of this that's just, wow, is so intriguing to me is Shedeur Sanders. Like, Shedeur Sanders is still the third string quarterback. So it's like okay, we have 4 quarterbacks. We got rid of Kenny Pickett, but you're number 3. And then Joe Flacco, he's the starter. Dylan's number 2. And then you go to, well, now Dylan's number 1, but you're still number 3. Like, you're on the depth. Now, this could mean a lot of things. But I'm telling you, it's making the whole Sanders family just squirm. Like, they don't know how to handle this. They don't know what to do. They were, born with a golden spoon, and the gold rusted, if it's, which doesn't rust, but it did. So maybe they weren't made out of gold. Anyways, so now they trade Joe Flacco, and Shedeur is still not number 2. Like, everything that keeps happening just says no. And that means a couple of things. One, it could be they don't feel that he's ready. And maybe he may not see this, but they may see we're really protecting you. Because if you went from a projected first round draft choice, supposedly in someone's eyes, I don't know whose, and now all of a sudden you go in the 5th round and everyone calls racism and they call the NFL, they don't know anything. They're punishing this kid and they're punishing Dion. No, the NFL is not. That's not how they roll. They're not into. Now there could be a situation where you go, we don't want the circus, and they'll take the circus if you're a first round talent. They will. They'll go, we do not care. I never have felt like Shedeur was a first round talent. I mean, a lot of things you're seeing with Arch Manning, and it's holding on to the ball. It's not. There's this anticipation of throwing and knowing where to throw the football, and you just and you kind of saw it with Arch, and you see it with Shedeur, and it's that processing, and that's what makes a great quarterback, is someone who can process information quickly and make an effective action, to throw the ball accurately. I mean, on time and accurate is the most important thing for a quarterback, over arm strength, over athleticism, over everything. Is just get the ball out and in the right spot. And you can be Kirk Cousins and make $400 million. But Shedeur, so maybe they're protecting him, and in this sense, they just go, look, you're not ready. If we throw you in right now, and you are a disaster, you're done. Like it's going to validate everything that everybody said, and because you're under so much scrutiny when you play, like everything. I mean. Shedeur does this miming answers, real weird response, which just seems really immature to me. And it's just like, just answer the questions, because clearly in your brain, something's not working right there. And, so maybe they're just saying, we're protecting you. Or here's another thing. Maybe management wanted the kid. Oh, we got to get him in here. And maybe the coach said, I don't want that circus. I don't think he's very good. He's not going to help us right now. And I don't want to put up with the whole, answering questions about a 5th round draft choice quarterback who's 3rd on our depth chart. And so you picked him. I don't have to play him. I am in charge of who plays and who doesn't, as the coach. So you pick him, fine, great, but I don't have to play him. And so he'll sit. So there could be this power play going on that, and I don't know. Again, I'm speculating because it's weird. It's weird that a guy is the 3rd string quarterback and they make all these moves and he's still the 3rd string quarterback. That says something really loud. And of course, it's Shedeur Sanders, who's the son of Deion Sanders, and they made all this hype about him. And so it's just weird. Now, the other scenario could be he's just not very good. They're not only trying to protect him, but they're just saying, as we evaluate players, you're not very good. And because of that, I don't care who you are. I don't care when you're drafted. I don't care whatever. Which I hope is actually the case. And it could maybe tie into, you're not ready. But the other side of it could be you're just not that good. Maybe you'll be ready. Maybe you won't. We're in the business of winning football games right now. And so there you have it. And the whole thing with Joe Flacco could have been, because here's Joe Flacco has the respect of the coach. And there's a relationship there. It's why Joe Flacco was there. And Joe Flacco's played for 15 some years. And so they're like, okay, here's the situation. We have a team that wants to trade for you. They probably talked to him about it. And he said, you want to go there? And he goes, you know what? Yeah, that would be a good situation. They got a good team. They got good players. I'm going to play. Why not? Anyway, so that's kind of an interesting thing. Now, another thing that I think is quite interesting is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. Now, first of all, this is just a great traditional rivalry game. You know, this could be one of the better ones, if not the best one. And I like all the backroom drama, like all the things that are kind of going on, you know, with each of these teams. So what's going on with the Giants? Well, you know, they lost their star receiver. They have a quarterback who's young, fearless, and now he's going to play Philadelphia. So it's his first kind of indoctrination into this rivalry. So how does he handle it? Where is it? You know, where is this? Because a lot of times what will happen with a young player. So Jackson Dart plays his first game. The Chargers, you know, they're good. And he's playing a good defense, but it's his first game, so everyone's excited, right? And he wins a lot on emotion and a lot on the newness of everything, and then he goes, you know, I've kind of arrived. I'm in New York. I won my first game. I go to New Orleans, and I'm just overconfident. Maybe I don't prepare the same way, and all these people are now wanting a part of my time, and I'm not managing my time well. I'm not preparing myself like I need to every single week, and I go down and I get it handed to me. And it would be a very thing for a rookie quarterback to do, to go play really good against the Philadelphia Eagles, because he got humbled. Now it's a big rivalry. So how does Jackson Dart play? It's always fascinating to me to see how, you know, does he answer this, or does he just get overwhelmed by a really good defense? You know, I don't know. Now on the other side of it, they had kind of a semi-player meeting, and Philadelphia is trying to figure itself out a little bit. And I'm telling you, there's this emotional ebb and flow in every football season in the NFL. And teams are trying to get out of their own way when about winning and losing, because it can really get in your head. You know, this DB for the Bears is still suffering from a play from a year ago, and he's like, he's just haunted by it still. And so it gets in your head when you screw up or you lose, or and you still have to play every week. It's like, can we win? You know, well, what's wrong with our team? Well, let's have a team meeting, or let's, you know, I mean, I remember speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, they went to California, played the San Francisco 49ers. And the 49ers were kind of in that mindset of, who are we? Are we any good? And they got just absolutely annihilated by the Eagles. And Steve Young was actually benched. And he was benched, and guess what? He was furious about it. The next week they come to Detroit, which is where we were. We're beating them in this game, and they come back and win the game. And it was that moment that kind of flipped the season around for him. And so games like this, where the Giants and Eagles are playing right now, and it's about that time of year where you just need that one game that just gets you over the edge. So, because there's nicks in the armor, chinks in the armor here with the Eagles, and they're trying to figure out that emotional side of winning or losing, or they're on the brink of whatever. So it'll be fascinating to watch tonight. All right, let's take another break. We come back, talk a little Utah football, playing the Arizona State Sun Devils. Is the Sun Devil, is that a racist mascot or not? I don't know. anyways, we'll talk. I'm not going to talk about that, but we'll talk about the game and a bunch more when the Down and Dirty returns here on ESPN 792.1 FM.
You will not have long. 57 seconds.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you went long, dude.
Okay. We're going to run commercials for 10 minutes. 10:45.
I
You said 54.
pretty much just for today. Yeah, pretty much. It's my fault. So I'm sorry.
I got to do weight vision.
Yeah, do away vision when we come back real quick. But yeah, just end it with Utah and recap that and move on. I know we got the second show, so we got that. Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm down for it, man. My flight don't leave until 4:30. I gotta get to the airport at 2, so I'm okay. I'm gonna go home real quick.
Hey, did you not get the memo today in our meeting? Taking time off?
Yeah, well, I'd rather go home, see my mom, make sure I celebrate her birthday, than be killed by her and have a week with you guys. Okay, I'd rather live than die. I am, but when mom calls, man, I gotta go. That's all we got. 58 seconds. That's all we got.
All right, we're at 10:47. How much more time do we have?
Well, we gotta do the RGS exterior. That's why it took up 8 minutes. So that's why we're missing 8.5 minutes. That's why. So it's gotta play.
Oh, is it playing now?
Not playing now. Playing the next break.
Right, that's what I was saying. You said, so I said it's going to play at 54. Now go all the way into 11:02. And you said, no, we're fine.
Yeah, we gotta go. Come on.
All righty, sports fans, welcome back. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. I really appreciate you being a part of our day, and I want to tell you something that I also really appreciate, and please listen. Weight Vision has changed my life. I love them. They're amazing. I had surgery, and I can see clearly both up close and far away, and you can too. So go check them out. They're right there in the UCCU building in Thanksgiving Point, right off the freeway. They will do an amazing evaluation and run up on your eyes and do a thorough analysis to figure out what's going on and the right procedure for you. And it'll change your life as well. My procedure took 15 minutes, minimally invasive, downtime minimal, but man, a lifetime of maximum. Really, it's just incredible. So go check them out, weightvision.com, WAITE vision.com. All right. Utah plays Arizona State, which is coming up in a few minutes. Saturday here on, of course, ESPN. And you can get 10 hours of pregame. We covered the heck out of it. So you want to tune in for sure. This is one of those games. I was talking about all the stuff with how during a season you have that can we win type of thing, and you just need a game. And I think the game where Arizona State beat Utah a year ago in Tempe was one of those games that started to give them that confidence. And it's a game right about now when this is a big win. This is a pretty must-win game for Utah. It just is. If you're going to play in the championship, you got to win this game. You got to win at home. You got to beat Arizona State. They're going to be in the mix of things, and you got to have, that head-to-head against them. So I think this will be the first week that everyone figures out, okay, who really is this team? Like, I want to know who really is Devin Dampier. And you're going to hear Devin Dampier on the Sean O'Connell show here in just a minute. He does a weekly interview, but I want to see, is he ready for prime time? Because he wasn't ready for it a couple weeks ago. Now, he could have been injured, whatever, but if he's not injured, I want to see it. 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 And of course, the troops got to rally a little bit. So hopefully they're fresh, they're ready to go, and we can get a win here on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, well, that's all we have time for today. We really hope you've enjoyed the show. Please come back tomorrow because we got so much more to talk about. I seriously have a ton that I want to share with you. So come back and tune in. The Sean O'Connell show is next. This has been the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 7.